Listen, the last thing I want to ask you, J Rios, before we get out of here is what, I mean, you said you've been doing this since you were 12, 13, around that time, jiu-jitsu, right? What would Rios be doing if he wasn't a wrestler? Or what, or maybe in a different way, like what other talents do you have? You know, answer it any way you want, you know? What would you be doing if it wasn't wrestling?
So for me, I love to entertain. I love to entertain. I love to create emotion, man. Like I love we're not all okay. Even the most okay person in this world is not okay, and even they need a form of escape, something to create happiness within their lives. And I, whether it's at a monster, level, or whether it's at a small level, I enjoy making people happy. At the end of the day, whether it's entertainment as part of the job, or entertainment because that person needs that smile, not that they want that smile, that they want to smile, but that's deep down there's some shit that there's going on in their lives that maybe took place that morning or 3 weeks ago. Maybe they had a relative who's not doing so well, or maybe they had a bad day at work, or maybe things just aren't that right for them, and I'm that one person that can just make them go, damn, man. Even if it's for like 2 minutes, that 2 minutes of relief is greater, to me, is greater than a whole day, and mental hell, man. Like Bob Marley said it best, we, none but ourselves can free our minds, emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. And not a lot of people can do that. It's a difficult thing to do. I struggle with it every single day, no matter how okay I feel at times. There are those moments where I know I'm not okay. So I'll find wherever my mom is, I'll give her a hug, or I'll pick up my phone and I'll send my dad a text, and I'll say, I love you, old man, or I'll see my son and I'll kiss him on the forehead, I'll hug my girlfriend, or I'll appreciate the things that I've done, and to me, in being appreciative of knowing that I was courageous enough to pursue my passion, I want to give that energy off, man. Like, I was listening to the Joe Rogan, Kevin Hart podcast earlier today, and to me, that was it. It's an incredible podcast because, like, Kevin Hart, especially, you don't take any of this shit with you, when you go. And this is something that I knew long before this podcast, but just to hear it said by somebody at that level, not to go like, oh my God, he's got so much money, he's got, all these materialistic possessions. Like, nah, like, you only get that type of shit by grinding a certain level. Not everyone can grind like that. So if you're willing to grind to that magnitude, I admire you. That's some pretty crazy stuff. And he said, you don't take these things, with you to the grave. But you have to give this away. You have to make people better in order to watch what you love grow. And it was something like, as crazy as this sounds, I learned this in NA, Narcotics Anonymous, and only you can only keep what you love by giving it away. So to me, I love professional wrestling. I'm very passionate about professional wrestling, and I was grateful enough to be able to give my knowledge of what I've learned, not just by Bubba Ray and Devon, but by all my own, personal dealings throughout the independence and everything. I got to, have my own students and give back in that way. I got to help people with conversations of depression or suicide, or things like that. Strangers, just to help somebody smile. To me is the most important thing, just to create a special moment in that person's life. People forget what you said, people forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Look, before we let anybody go, I know it's getting late, but I want to give you a rapid fire questions. Okay. Ask you about you and about what you think about the current industry. So I'm gonna fire them off quick. Just answer them in as few words as possible. We're going to try to squeeze in 10 here before we can, if you don't mind.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
So first one, I ask this to everybody, is what is, if there's an end game for Rios, for Sir Rios, where is it? If there's like, have you reached your final goal, or where's your final goal? Where do you sit back and say, this is it, I've made it, I'm done?
It's crazy because one of my favorite rappers, and he's from my home state of Connecticut, shout out to Chris Webby, has this one song where the chorus goes, I'm just warming up and they label me a veteran. He's been in this game for going on 10 years now, if not about 10 or just a little over that. and this dude's lyrical fire like is just something insane. But he's just now, you know, like that come up is really about to start coming.
Right.
And it's like everybody is like, oh my God, bro, like you're insane, you're this, you're that, like you're so good. And you're like, you haven't even seen what I'm capable of. And the next 5 years, just wait. And so to me, I'm nowhere near the end. To me, my biggest goal is to tell stories on the grandest stages of them all. And, you know, I've been fortunate to do that with several big companies, whether they be in Mexico or they be here in the United States. But there's one major company that I've yet to not grace their ring, and they are the biggest game in town. And if you don't know who that company is, then go on Google and Google what is the biggest wrestling company in the world, and you'll find your answer. But to me, I won't be fully done with this ride until I've told at least one story there.
All right, cool. Who's your favorite wrestler of all time?
Woo! Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero. Oh my
Eddie
God.
He's
Eddie
on that
Guerrero.
jacket. On that so I actually have that jacket right here.
I love Eddie.
So yeah, so on my this to me was a statement piece, and it was to establish who I was, and you know, cannabis is who I am, and people blew it so out of proportion, just like, you know, in this film. So to me, I just wanted to throw that into people's faces, but I also need to develop, you know, in order to be free, you need to be fearless. But to me, somebody that inspired me the most was Eddie Guerrero, and there he is on my piece right there. And then probably one of the greatest entertainers that ever lived, Michael Jackson.
Nice.
So, well, talk to me about that. Who's your favorite gear? What wrestler had your favorite gear you've ever seen?
What wrestlers had my favorite gear that I have ever seen? To me, one of the dudes that always
like Rey Mysterio has always killed it, you know.
For
but that's just like that's like a gift, you know.
So to me, Hulk Hogan established the whole branding thing of red and yellow, right? Whether it was, you know, Vince Jr.'s idea or not, it was, you know, I learned that, holy crap, red and yellow means Hulk Hogan. Holy crap, pink and black means Bret Hart. Holy crap, broken hearts meant Shawn Michaels. But to me, I think coolest gear wise, especially growing up, had to have been Shawn Michaels, because especially for me growing up and being a WWF head, all I saw was, you know, like that wrestling. So watching Shawn Michaels, especially, what really hooked me was the entrance gear. And that's when I learned, and that's something that Lindsay definitely helped with, is going like, you know, you need to catch these people and hook them the moment they see your entrance gear. It's not just necessarily what you have underneath there, it's what you look like coming out. Do you look like a spectacle? You know, Prince, Elton John, Michael Jackson, all these dudes were so outlandish and crazy with what they wore, but you always remembered them. They always stood out. They always made you do this. Oh crap, that person looks very odd, interesting. You had that double take effect. So to me, Shawn Michaels, with having the mirrors and like the chains and the cool looking, like, even though the chaps and stuff was kind of weird, and the striptease show that he would do for the entrance, it was kind of, you know, as like a 6-year-old, 7-year-old kid watching, like, I don't know why you're doing that, but it's kind of cool.
I was into it, yeah.
I was into it, you know. It was that whole thing. So to me, best gear had to have gone to Shawn Michaels then.
Cool. That's what's up.
Heartbreak Kid.
What about best match? What do you think? Do you have an all-time favorite match?
Oh my God! Aside from every single match I've been in, no. No, that's a lie. I'm my own worst critic. Even though when other people go, "Oh, that's an awesome match," I'll go, "Stop." So my favorite match, man, had to have been. It was ballpark to me. It was Shawn Michaels versus Triple H versus Chris Benoit, and it was the build up to Chris Benoit hopefully winning the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 20, Madison Square Garden, and just knowing how the odds were stacked against him, and how he had, you know, Triple H, who, you know, when you got Triple H in a match, you're like, man, I don't know if this person's really going to win. Triple H is in this match. And then you got Shawn Michaels in the match. You're like, I don't know if this person is really going to win, because you got Triple H in the match. and Shawn Michaels in the match.
Exactly.
So, but like to me, like match wise, from start to finish, story wise, the amount of like false pins that there was, how many times you like jumped out of your chair and you were like grabbing your hair and you're like crap, and then like Jim Ross, you felt like Jim Ross's commentary was, you know, making your heart about to come out of your shirt, because you could tell a great match in the ring, but if you have a color commentary crew just, you know, tying those pieces together, especially for the people at home, oh my God, what a roller coaster ride of emotions. And when the 3 count happened and just how they all went into it, and just hearing Jim Ross, you know, articulate those moments, it was like watching Bob Ross, you know, do his little trees, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, and just the final touch was just watching Eddie Guerrero come out and just that celebration. And yeah, so to me, that's probably one of my most favorite matches, moment-wise, is because of what it made me feel, and just knowing that there was 2 best friends that came up, you know, in this world together, and they actually got to succeed together. It's those types of stories that give a guy like me hope in order to be able to tell a rendition of that story with, you know, other components. You know,
absolutely, yeah. Last 2, if favorite finisher. Because what is your finisher move? Because I can't even remember what it's called. It's crazy, dude.
So I've always been taught, and it's something that I teach, where if you're gonna have a finish, make sure it's something that you can hit at any time, at any moment, and on every one. And so you have your signature move, you have your false finish move, and then you have your finish move. So I have several interchangeable ones where I either use a version of the Canadian Destroyer, made famous by Petey Williams. Not a lot of people give Petey Williams the credit for being an amazing, you know, dude from the X Division who really helped put the X Division on the map and helped change that style. So I use the Canadian Destroyer as a signature move, to where it wins me most matches, depending on the level size of the person I'm in the ring with, or if I'm in there with a bigger person that's able to take that move, I'll use it as a move that, you know, stuns them, that sets me up to either a 450 splash or a shooting star press. Now is what I've been using. So it's very top rope, but again, if you know you do these things too much, you're not going to be able to do them for the rest of your career, and it's longevity now that you're after. So doing a 450 splash every single night, my elbows feel it, my knees feel it, my shoulders feel it. You know, doing a shooting star press, your knees feel it, everything feels it, the person taking it feels it. So you're learning. It's constantly playing with what still looks effective, what still, you know, is high impact, and what gets the job done. But at the end of the day, let's face it, The Rock was able to make the people's elbow, you know, a legendary finish. You know, Hulk Hogan was able to make a leg drop a finish. So it's
great point.
That's a good point.
It's all about consistency, and if you believe in your finish, and it's just, you know, other people having respect for what your finish is and not whoring it out before you get to do it.
Nice. So, do you have a favorite besides what you do, like from somebody else?
So to me, my favorite finisher, it sounds kind of corny, because it's people are gonna be like, you know, well, you know, you're being biased, but no, it's to me, it's legit one of the coolest finishers ever, because it's just very impactful, and they protected this finish, and they were able to make this finish famous. And to me, the Deadly Death Drop was the coolest finish in wrestling. You had Devon hoisting up, you know, whoever was about to take the cutter from Bubba. And before they were doing the 3D, Bubba was already doing a rendition of that, you know, as a singles wrestler, when he would pop the person up and give them a cutter. But now you've got Devon taking the person down in a flapjack, and you've got Bubba driving your head down with the rest of the force. And then you've got the synchronization of those 2 behemoths just, you know, especially when they were putting somebody through a table. I was
just going to say, yes, bro. See them put somebody through the table with that. Poetry in motion. Even when they did it to Mae Young, they put or I think they powerbombed her. Yeah. They did so much to Mae Young. Oh, my God. Great times, man. Those times were great. They really pushed the limits. Some good shit. And last question, is there anyone, and other than Lisa Delgado, because I know that's your boy, is there anyone, somebody that you don't know that you haven't worked with before that you would love to work with, like a dream match for yourself?
Ooh,
Retired or not, you know, whatever, all time.
right now, the dude I feel that would push me to the next level right now, and he's a friend of mine too, but I've never gotten a chance to wrestle this guy, and it's Cedric Alexander.
Oh, he's gifted.
I think, Cedric is one of those dudes where he's an automatic. Like you taught him a move and he knew it, and this was one of those, like, Cedric and I have been doing this pretty much almost the same amount of time. I think I maybe have like 6 months or almost a year on Cedric Alexander, and the fact that he is where he is right now just speaks levels about, you know, how he picked up, you know, the art of, you know, professional wrestling, and how hungry he was, and the level of sacrifices that he was able to make, and just being at the right place at the right time, and just knowing that when opportunities were presented, he was going to, you know, execute them to the fullest extent of the possibility. And we all saw it, you know, when the Cruiserweight Classic took place, you know, and when he was done, you know, the head, one of the head honchos, Triple H, you know, the man himself, comes out and endorses him in front of the crowd and in front of everybody else that was watching. And at that moment, you're like, holy crap, you know, if whoever didn't know about Cedric Alexander before watching that, you know, didn't know too much about him, after that moment, they were definitely interested, not only because of the match he had given, but because of that endorsement. And I think it did a lot for Cedric, and a lot of people being able to go on YouTube or whatever other platforms they watch, you know, they like to get the wrestling history from and see where he came from, and, you know, study the come up, because everybody's got to come up, man. And, you know, it's for the most part, it's well documented for those that are at a very high level, and those that are at a high level have done you know, one hell of a job to earn that right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen you do some incredible things in the ring. I've seen Cedric Alexander do some incredible things, obviously. So I think that would be a badass match. A good one, long one. I think that'd be cool. Yeah. Cool.
I think I could bring out a lot of emotion out of Cedric, and I think that'd be the coolest part. Yeah. Awesome. And he hits hard, and that's what I like.
Cool, man. Well, look, man, we really appreciate you taking the time, bro. It's been a pleasure.
No, man, the pleasure is all mine, and this was definitely like long overdue. It's like 2 years in the making.
I know.
It was crazy. It's like I was, you know, folding laundry it was probably about 2 weeks or so ago, and was rearranging some of my drawers, and one of the shirts that, you know, I pulled out was the Podhead shirts that you guys have gifted me with. So just to know that I got that, and you know, I could keep up with everything you guys are doing on social media and what you guys do on radio, and just the movement overall, man. Just proving that, you know, people that use cannabis as a form of medicine, even recreationally, man. People that drink wine aren't shunned because they drink wine. People that have a beer aren't shunned because they drink a beer. So if you smoke a doobie, you should be shunned for smoking a doobie. And you guys are perfect, you know, examples of being productive, you know, guys that know how to have a good time, but still maintain to the topic at hand, and to, you know, still give credible information no matter what state of mind you're in, whether you're altered or not. I like to think that we're furthermore enlightened, and our senses are heightened.
Exactly.
And I think when we're at that level, I feel like we know what the hell we're talking about a little bit more. and the ones that aren't there are kind of just like running into that brick wall in their mind. Like, I don't get what this dude's talking about, bro. Lay off the pipe. Nah, bro.
Yeah,
bro.
bro.
Pick one up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Rios Badu, man, thank you so much. You know, you're welcome to come anytime. We wish you the best luck, and yeah, man, we'll see you next time, man.
No doubt, man. Keep doing what you guys are doing, and hey, I hope this all turns around for everybody. I hope 2020 still has the potential to be the greatest, you know, year of our lives, or what's left of it. But no matter come hell or high water, I hope to see you guys in higher ground no matter what. So,
for sure, bro.
Gentlemen, have a great night.
Can't wait to watch you go again, man. Let us know when you got something going on in town.
Brother, most definitely, man. Stay enlightened, stay heightened, my friends. Peace out, y'all.